So I have a story to share with you tonight that I was planning to read it, but maybe I'll just say it as I get into reading it. And it's about, you were talking about being a freak, right? And I felt like a freak when I was 11 years old. And I started dressing in women's clothing. And I didn't know anyone like me that did that. And I got myself very confused about it. And so this story is about how I somewhat reconcile that. The story is called In Broad Daylight. At age 11, I lay in bed listening for it. That screen door. The sound of it slamming. As they left, my 7 cousins finally left my grandmother's home, the bungalow that she had in Misquamicut Beach, Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And she walked out, and that morning earlier, all the adults had gone for a car trip into a nearby town. And now my 7 cousins left the bungalow. The night before, I saw my cousin Sally, who was 2 years older than me, take out of her suitcase a cute pixie wig, an adorable little dress, and low-heeled sandals. And I had been cross-dressing for about 9 months before that. But all I got to do was be in my bathroom, going through the hamper of some of my mother's clothes. And so when my cousin Sally took that stuff out of her suitcase and put it on the bed, and I saw that, I planned what I would do the next day. So here it was, the next day, the door slammed shut, they're gone, and I said to them, I'm not gonna go, I got a bad sore throat, I'm gonna stay home.
Yeah, right.
Oh, and my cousin Joseph said, Frankie, you're never sick. Are you, yeah? Yeah, I'm gonna stay home. So they left. As soon as they left, I watched them out the window walk up the street. I put on Sally's pixie wig, put on that short dress, those low-heeled shoes, and for the first time in my life, I went out into broad daylight.
Yes.
And I walked down the street, and I walked down that street, and then I walked down another street in the blazing sun on Ocean Boulevard.
11
And
years
I was
old.
going down to the beach, and there I was, walking as a girl.
11 years old.
I even put a little eyeliner on. How well I did it, I don't know. And I'm walking down the street, and as I'm walking, the cars are coming up behind me, lots of traffic, and I hear some of them beeping the horn. And although I was only 11, I was like sashaying as I was walking. And I heard them beeping and saying, hey girl, hey babe. And I said, oh my God, they think I'm really a girl.
Yes.
At least from the back. So I'm walking and walking and walking. And and now with the hot sun, and plus I had the wig on, I'm really hot, but I'm having the time of my life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I really felt at one with everything. And as I'm walking, the sky looked bluer. The lawns and everything, the shrubs looked greener. I could smell the beach more and feel that salt water in that air. Everything had opened up to me. And I lost track of time. Finally I said, and I didn't have a watch on. I actually went up to someone and asked them the time. They told me it was 3 o'clock. I had already been out for 3 hours walking. So now I decided I had to get back. So I turned from the beach, going back toward the bungalow, which was a good quarter of a mile up the road. And in the distance, I could see a clump coming toward me. And oh my God, it was a clump of people. It was my 7 cousins. From a mile away, I could see them walking. And I'm about a half a mile away or more.
Oh my God.
More than that, actually, from my bungalow. And unless I started running, I would never get there in time. By the way, I grew up as an Italian-American guy from the block. If my father found out that I put on women's clothes, they would take limb by limb, they would pull me apart.
Okay.
There would be no question about that. And they're just Calabres. They're not even Sicilian. And they would do that. And so this is all going through my head. How can I ever be caught? So I took off the shoes. I pulled it was a short dress. I pulled it up a little bit higher so I could free my thighs for walking. It was about a mile, and I sprinted all the way across the lawns in a beeline to my grandmother Nani's cottage. And as I got closer, I could see them getting closer, and I was on this side of the bungalow, and they were on that side, the other side, so they never saw. Just in time, I just got in, I opened that, and the doors, I hadn't locked the doors. You didn't need to lock the doors way back then. I got onto the patio, I opened the door. I carefully did not slam it in case they were close by and heard it. I ran through the living room, I went into the bedroom, jumped into the bed, I pulled the covers over, and I thought, oh my God, maybe I'm safe. Maybe they're not gonna find out that I put on women's clothes.
Hey!
And here they come. They come in, I hear the door slam.
Keep going, I'm half Italian as well, you're fucking fabulous.
Thank you.
That's a blessing.
You know, by the way, some Italian guys, and the only way I could really pass as a female with real Italian guys is if I can make them hard. But
Yes.
so far the best I get
Yes.
is al dente.
I'm a black guy.
So you're a black guy, yeah, also with black guys, you know. But anyway, now I hear my cousin Joanne, one of the 7 cousins, my cousin Joanne comes in and she says, oh, he must still be here. Here are his sneakers. Frankie is probably really sick. He's in the bedroom. Let me go see. And I hear her saying that, and I'm saying to myself, oh, please, don't come in the bedroom. Don't take the covers off me and see me with the dress on and
Miley
the wig.
Cyrus.
And sure enough, she comes in, the door cracks open, she says, oh, he must be really sick. She closes the door, she walks out, she says to the others, let's leave, let him sleep, let's go to the beach. And so I narrowly escaped being found out that day that I was a cross-dresser. And I felt that day that my life was saved because the way my family would have reacted would have been, in my opinion, then horrible. And it wasn't until many years later, in fact only 6 years ago, that I transitioned to transgender female 24/7. Yeah. And I often wonder, now as I was writing this story, I thought, wow, I escaped being caught. I was a risk taker. I went out into broad daylight. I escaped being caught because I took those shoes off and I ran. But guess what? If I had fallen, and if it was that I got there a little late, and they came into the room just as I was in the room or they saw me outside, I realized that people, prejudiced people even, love their offspring. And they would have forgiven me. They would have loved me. And I may have lived more of my years as a transgender woman than I have in this lifetime. And one thing is that God definitely loves me and has loved me. And so, in all your travels with trans people, whenever you meet them, whenever they've come out as trans, it's okay. If it's late in life like me, because they didn't get caught when they were younger, or if it's early in life, like some other people, because they did get caught, and then they were able to express themselves more. Just give them a big hug. Give those trans people a big hug.